Okay, so all right. So we are here to talk about. All right, so we're here to talk about Gwen Stacy. Now, a lot of us know. Well, maybe not a lot of people. I actually just talked about somebody to talk to somebody about Gwen Stacy, and so Gwen Stacy, if you don't know who she is like one of the first people in comic, like the first girlfriend in comics that I know of that died. The first love interest of a superhero that genuinely fucking died and did not really come back for at least 70 years. It's been at least 50 to 70 years since she's died, and she has not actually come back. Even now, with these returns, like the character you see up on screen, that's not Gwen Stacy. Not really. That's an alternate universe version of Gwen Stacy that comes from a version where she was Spider-Man. In most universes, she is dead, and for like it's been that way since the 60s, 70s, and it is going to stay that way. But comics and almost not even comics, Marvel in general has been bringing her back for the past like decade and a half. And every single time they have tried, for some reason, they have made her into a villain, except for twice. First time was in the comics when they first introduced Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen in the comics is not a villain. This version of Spider-Gwen is. This version of Spider-Gwen joined a multiversal death cult to murder her love interest dad. Like, not even kidding. She legit, like, engages in a plot that involves the murder of a police officer who is also the father of someone she has feelings for and is actively friends with or consider herself friends with. And so this version of Gwen Stacy, despite what fans might feel about her and the way the movie tries to portray her, is 100% a supervillain's henchman. A former supervillain's henchman, so up until recently she's been a villain. She has. For not the entirety of her run, obviously. Like, in the first movie, she was just a kid, just another spider person, but in the second movie, she full-on becomes a supervillain. She's a fully and almost fully realized supervillain that is only stopped when everything she believes in is challenged, and then she suddenly pivots. Unlike Miguel O'Hara, who goes full send. But it's not the only time that this has happened. Obviously, the first time they tried to bring her back into stories in a major way that I know of was in the storyline with the Stacy twins. Now, if you don't know who the Stacy twins are, they were clones of Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy made by the Green Goblin in order to trick Peter into thinking that they had... So basically, he had tricked Peter into thinking that the kids were actually his, and that they were actually Normans. So Harry had actually tricked Peter into thinking that they were Normans, or the original Green Goblin's kids, and that Gwen Stacy had cheated on treated on Spider-Man with Green Goblin, which is the first, like, in the beginning of all this, it's where this all came from, because as far as I know, that came right before the emergence of Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool. And then obviously, like, then there's Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool, which are usually heroes. Usually. However, Gwenpool is obviously a bit of a wild card in her own thing, but she's generally a heroic person, as Stacy's is, which is per usual for Stacy's. However, then came Mysterio. So in Earth 6160, I think it's 6160 or 61610, introduces a new version of Gwen Stacy that actually married Harry Osborn and became one of 5 villains called Mysterio. Which, spoiler alert, yeah, and she's not, and this isn't an accidental, like, oh, she got tricked into this group kind of thing. She's one of the leaders of the group and absolutely believes in what she's doing. She's a supervillain and she loves it. And she thinks it's the right thing to do. And then there's also now an another clone of Gwen that is a legit just murders Gwenpool. So like a clone of Gwen in Earth 616 kills an alternate version of herself, and like, I don't know. Honestly don't know where that story is going. I think they've teamed up now, but it's weird that we keep getting villain behavior or villainous tendencies from the first girlfriend to die in comics. I think that's weird, and it's something that I'm noticing and I'm picking up on, and I find it highly suspicious. Obviously, like, it's not that important. These are comic books, and I know a lot of people aren't going to care about what the hell I'm talking about. But it's just weird to see this sudden shift in characterization for Gwen Stacy, being from this pure, loving, just a really cool person who's really smart and is like, became a symbol of ultimate tragedy within a superhero life. And then suddenly, over time, we've just started villainizing her, and I don't know why. I don't know why the cheating on Spider-Man with Green Goblin, I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they would add three villainous versions of her within a span of half a decade. Like, this has been within a couple... Like, when did Spider-Verse come out? Beyond the Spider-Verse. Or not, Across the Spider-Verse, I mean. Yeah, so within the last 2 or 3 years... In less than 5 years, in less than half a decade, we have now gotten 3 versions of Gwen Stacy that are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, killers. Actual murderers. One joined a death cult and has probably has a death count in well into the double digits, or even maybe in the triple digits. At the very least, she has aided and embedded a lot of murders and a lot of death, where she has willingly allowed these things to happen. Like, she isn't like out there stabbing people, but if you know a murder is about to happen, and instead of stopping it or calling the police, you instead go to watch or go to pick up the family afterwards, you're helping a murderer. I consider you just as much as a murderer as the people who are killing Spider-Man's family members in alternate universes. You're joining a death cult to make sure certain people get murdered. You're no different than Reed Richards, someone who pretends to be a superhero, but is actually an egomaniacal supervillain that likes killing people in mass and getting away with it. Like, that's how I'm seeing her now. And it's crazy that it's happened 3 times in a row within just as many years. Or, no, 2023 to 24. Yeah, no. I mean, technically, that's really within 2 years. Within 2 years, we have gotten 3 different villain Gwen Stacys. One is a clone that just straight up devolved into being a murderer. Then there's this one that's a death cult, a member of a death cult. And then there's Mysterio from the Ultimate Universe, who straight up works with Kingpin and runs a secret society and is straight up just a monster. Like, she even says that, like, she's basically admitted to wanting to break Peter down so that he's willing to kill people and not be as nice and to basically be a supervillain. She's openly admitted that she wants Peter to be like her and to do fucked up shit. And look at this. Okay, I thought this was something else. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, like, straight up a supervillain now. It's like it's been a slow progression almost, because it started off with her doing something bad. With her potentially cheating on Spider-Man with Green Goblin, which she absolutely did, and they retconned it because people didn't like it. So then they went to alternate versions to do worse things. First, they make Spider-Gwen, who accidentally kills Peter Parker, and which honestly is a classic Spider-Man thing. I mean, usually Spider-Man doesn't punch Uncle Ben and kill him. Usually he just allows him to die through happenstance, honestly. But in this case, she's like negligent and lets her friend die, like ignores her friend until he kills himself. And that's my understanding of the beginning of Spider-Gwen. But even then, and then there's Gwenpool, who's just Deadpool, but Gwen. Which is not good, by the way. That's not a good thing, because Deadpool is absolutely a killer, and on many points in his life has been the villain of either his own or other people's stories. So he is not off the villain list, and neither is Gwenpool in that regard. Yes, she ends up becoming like a hero, but she starts off as a Deadpool parody, which means she's at best an anti-hero, which is still a step down in morality from being Spider-Man's girlfriend. It's actually a huge step down. Going from being the girlfriend of Spider-Man to just being Spider-Man is a massive step down in morality. When you consider who Gwen Stacy was and when she was Spider-Man's girlfriend, she wasn't as questionable or amoral as future versions. And it just seems like the further down we go and the more adaptations of Gwen Stacy we get, the more villainous and violent that they become. And I find it troubling because I don't want Gwen Stacy to be the villain. She was the victim. Granted, I don't want her to be the victim either, but I don't want her to be the one victimizing other people. I mean, she's the poster child for being careful as a superhero in a relationship. She's not supposed to be the supervillain. It's just like with April O'Neil suddenly becoming a child. That shit worked once and never again. Honestly, I do not like April O'Neil as a child, except for that one adaptation from 2012 as like an offshoot. April O'Neil should be an adult, and Gwen Stacy should not be a supervillain. Yes, these characters are well written, but at the same time, you don't need Gwen Stacy to do this. You don't need to besmirch the name of a beloved character in order to, like, make a new villain. You could just make a new villain. If you need it to be a twist, I mean, like, with her being Mysterio, I guess that's really cool, I guess, because you don't expect it. But at the same time, outside of that shock value, fucking why? What is the point of making Gwen Stacy a supervillain? Other than, oh, she was Spider-Man's girlfriend originally. She was a really cool person that people hold in high regard. Let's bring her down because people won't expect that. And if we write it well enough, people won't care. Except some people do care, like me. Which, I guess is the hill that I just have to die on. But it just seems weird. It seems weird that they would suddenly villainize her instead of just pulling from anybody else. Honestly, just there being multiple Mysterios was twist enough. You could have just done the Sinister Six is Mysterio, you know? But no, you had to make Gwen Stacy be Mysterio. And quite frankly, by adding Gwen Stacy, you might as well get rid of all the other Mysterios, because Gwen Stacy is all I can even think about now when it comes to Mysterio. I really like Mysterio as a character. I liked Quentin Beck. But this is just weird. It should have either been multiple Mysterios or Gwen Stacy. It shouldn't have been multiple Mysterios and Gwen Stacy, in my opinion. I haven't finished reading the comics. I haven't even gotten that far in the Ultimate Comics. This is just, like, things that I know and that people have told me, and panels that I have actually read ahead about. I have read the comics, I just haven't read them from start to finish, or from start to present, so I may not have the full context. It just seems weird in the grander scale of things that they're doing this. That they feel a need, they being the writers, and the people who own Gwen Stacy as a property. It just seems weird that they're doing this. That they're intentionally villainizing a character who is defined by her by her moral standards and her victimization at the hands of a masked serial killer. Or mass murderer, honestly. A masked mass murderer. And it just seems weird that they would do this. It seems weird that they would actually go out of their way to make her look bad after initially fucking up. It's like they're trying to overcorrect her cheating on Peter as a decision by making it look like she was always supposed to be the villain by just making a bunch of villainous or villain adjacent characters. Even this character who is overtly very much a hero, and to the point where she only stays a villain for one movie. The fact that she was a villain for even one movie is super fucking weird. It's weird. I get her not wanting to, die by falling in love with Spider-Man, or even, listening to grown-ups because she's a kid and she trusts them. But she's doing things that even if someone had said these things and done these things around me when I was a child, I would have immediately questioned it. It doesn't make sense that she would trust Miguel O'Hara, even in her position. Because the second that he even tells a story about how he discovered canon events, my immediate thought would have been, it kind of just sounds like you being there destroyed the universe, and we all need to stay in our own universe. And all of this can be circumvented by staying in our own universes and minding our own fucking business. Because they could have fucking done that, but they didn't do that. They have an organization specifically to make sure canon events happen, which means that in the event that those things don't happen naturally, they are doing that. They are the ones that are killing these people. She has probably killed innocent people. They haven't said it, but the fact that she would be in this organization at all implies, well, actually, you can't avoid it. She has, to the letter of the law, become a murderer or someone who aids and abets murderers. She is a killer. She is willing to sit there and let your family die, knowing that they were going to be killed beforehand, and would legitimately just be there to fucking watch at most, or just watch from TV and then pick you up afterwards. She's no different than a fucking mobster. You know, it's just so bizarre, and I don't know if I like it. It makes me angry when I see shit like that. Now, with the Ultimate Universe, that's different. That's different. I could probably get around that, because that's an entirely different Gwen Stacy. That's a new adaptation of Gwen Stacy. This, however, is an adaptation of a pre-established adaptation. An adaptation of a pre-established reinterpretation. This version of Gwen Stacy is already established to be explicitly a superhero. So it is just as weird, and she's not as established as Spider-Man, because Spider-Man has been around for so long that you can have a bunch of villainous characters and be like, that's just the multiverse. It's just the multiverse doing that. This is her first film adaptation. The first version of herself that has been put to film. And they're making, in the second movie, they make her one of the main villains. Someone who is willing to let her friends' families die just so she can get the approval of some random Irish-Mexican dude from the future that she doesn't really know anything about other than he killed his daughter and feels bad about it. Or not even his daughter, an alternate version of his daughter, which he should technically consider his nephew, or his niece, really, or should have, before he fucking killed her. It's just, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't like that they took that character that is already a hero and doesn't have the establishment that other superheroes have, and put it very early, because this is early on. This is like if randomly in the 70s, Spider-Man had just stopped being Spider-Man and started being a serial killer. Like if it suddenly pivoted into becoming Dexter early in his career, and then suddenly it goes from Spider-Man being a superhero to, for the rest of his career, he's a serial killer. That's what's happening right now. We're seeing a weird, random villainous pivot from a character that shouldn't be pivoting in this way. Honestly, Spider-Man 2099 shouldn't be pivoting in this way. No, actually, no, he's pretty well established in the comics. He has been since the 90s. People really do like him, and he's always been kind of fucked up. So that actually tracks. But it's just her. Her having this on her is weird. And I don't think this version of the character deserves to be villainized. I don't think so. I think she should have gone from the victim to being her empowerment being the hero, which is what it's supposed to be. It isn't supposed to slowly turn in from victim to villain. I mean, we've seen that in female characters all the time. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm about to see it right now while watching the original show of Dexter with the Lumen character. I'm pretty sure she's about to go full serial killer and just start killing guys just to kill guys. You know, you can never just have a woman get over trauma. You have to make her fucked up for some reason. Like, obviously trauma fucks up people, but you have to make them into a fucked up person or make them do something to get them off, to kill them off. You know, like, just like in crime shows when they try and kill off a female character, it's always because they're angry about sex stuff, and then they go off on their own to do vigilante shit and end up murdering somebody. Or I feel like I see that a lot in crime shows when a female character or a female actress wants out. That's usually the go-to, is either they disappear to be an assassin, they get shot in the head, or they go off doing some vigilante shit because of sex crimes and make it they become the monster they thought that they sought to destroy by becoming a murderer. I don't know why they like doing this. I don't know why writers in comics and Hollywood like to do this to women and to female characters. It's weird. It's just weird. I mean, I'm here for it in some cases, like like I said, the Mysterio thing is really cool. That is a cool idea. I think they should have picked either multiple Mysterios or just Gwen Stacy, but both are. I'm hoping that it works out well when I actually go to read it from cover to cover. And I hope that that this trend that I'm noticing early on isn't true. I'm hoping that it's not true. And that I'm wrong about this. And I'm wrong that they're going to just pivot to making her a major villain, either throughout the multiverse or just within specific properties. I don't know. I hope they don't do it. I hope they don't. I hope this is just a coincidence that I can make a Phineas and Ferb joke about. But it's happened 3 times. And if I had a nickel for every time it happened, I'd have 3 nickels, which technically isn't an indication